Hi everyone, welcome back to the Astrology channel, and if you're new here, welcome. My name is Kaylin and today we're going to be looking at your August 2025 horoscope. This is a tropical Western astrological reading and you can watch your horoscope for your ascendant, sun and moon sign. However, if you've only got time to watch one horoscope today, then I would start off with your ascendant sign, which is also known as your rising sign. If you're wanting to see more astrological content and updates from me, please feel free to check out my Instagram and Facebook accounts. It's the same handle, which is Astrology. Without further ado though, let's get into your August horoscope. Hi Gemini, Sun, Moon and Risings. Welcome to your August 2025 horoscope. Let's start off by looking at career and business for you. So your third house is hugely activated this month because Mercury, which is your chart ruler, will literally be there the whole month and it'll be retrograde there for the first 11 days of the month. But I want to actually start off at the beginning of August on the 1st because we're going to see the Sun conjunct Mercury retrograde in Leo at 9 degrees. So some of you may be looking at some kind of course content creation for your work, or you may be looking at upskilling in some way or doing professional development or something that's going to support your career. Now, having Mercury in the third house, again, for the whole month, could indicate that you're very focused on content creation. Maybe you're reading a lot of books. You could be rereading a book during this time. Maybe you are completing a course or doing some important study or research. So with the third house being a business house, you could actually be looking at creating some kind of startup or looking at the pros and cons of proceeding with a certain business venture or business opportunity. When it comes to your workplace, there could be changes to management here or supervisors, and that's because we've got the Mercury retrograde occurring. So as we enter the month, Mercury will be retrograde and it will be direct once more on the 11th of August, but the pre-shadow won't conclude until pretty much the end of the month. All right, so if you work in small teams, then these could be reconfigured. Maybe there are changes to the cubicles, who sits where, who's on what team, and so on and so forth. Maybe you are thinking really long and hard about how to proceed with important projects, whether this is for the company that you work for or even if you own your own business. To me, it appears that it's a time where lots of teamwork and collaborations may be required or occurring. And I do think that there'll be a lot of networking opportunities for you too in a professional capacity. Okay, so on the 15th and the 18th of August, so we can pretty much say for that 15, 16, 17, 4 days, Mercury will be sextiling Mars. Okay, but the exact sextile will occur twice on the 15th and 18th of August. So if you are looking for a day to reach out to someone you want to work with, offer someone an opportunity to collaborate together, patch things up with a coworker or smooth things over with a client, this is a great period of time to do so. So again, between the 15th and the 18th of August. Of course, if you're wanting to launch something in a professional sense, make an announcement about your work, your business, or maybe online via your website or a social media platform, then again, around 15th, 16th, 17th, 18th of August, this is a great time to do so. Plus, even securing .coms and putting your website up, making it live. Okay, so on the 25th or 26th of August, depending where you live in the world, Venus is going to enter the sign of Leo. So Venus will be joining Mercury here in your third house. So this is basically just doubling down on that energy of networking, being open to collaborations, and fostering more positive team dynamics. Okay, so when it comes to finances and property, your house of finances, which is the second house, is actually very activated this month. And that's because we've got Jupiter here for the whole of, well, the next 11 months actually. So from the 10th of June 2025 until the end of June 2026. But in August specifically, Venus will be here with Cancer for pretty much nearly 4 weeks. All right, so maybe there are some financial blessings that come through around the 12th of August, which is when we're going to see the Venus-Jupiter conjunction occurring. So that's at 14 degrees in your second house. So there can be money that comes to you. Maybe you're being made aware of the opportunity to earn more or increase your income on a different level. This could be a time where you're having to spend more money because Venus is finances, money, and Jupiter expands what it touches. So, I don't want to sugarcoat things. I myself am a Gemini rising. It may be an expensive month for you in August, and even the first few days of the month, we've got Venus in your second house squaring Saturn and Neptune in your 11th house. So there may be important decisions that you need to make about your long-term financial situation. Okay, so with Neptune and Saturn both being in Aries in your 11th house, they're getting as close to a perfect conjunction as they will until February next year. And the 11th house rules over your big goals and dreams for the future, your passive and residual forms of income. And so Neptune and Saturn here in your 11th house for the entirety of August could see you forming some kind of goal or objective as it relates to your financial future. So maybe you are working on generating a passive form of income. Maybe there's a long-term project that you're wanting to work on, and this could be a marker point for you, and the next date to watch out for or period of time to watch out for that is extremely significant here would be February 2026, when the conjunction is actually exact. So you could be making important decisions or doing very thorough research about raising funds, Kickstarter programs, government grants, scholarships, pensions, retirement money or retirement plans, and basically just laying the foundation for your financial future, or at the very least doing some sort of preliminary research here. Okay, so with property, on the 23rd of August, the sun is going to enter Virgo, which is going to kickstart Virgo season. And then we're going to have a new moon the same day. Okay, so the new moon in Virgo will occur on the 23rd of August at 0 degrees in your 4th house, and it's going to square Uranus in Gemini in your 1st house. So the 4th house in astrology relates to our property and living situation. So new moons indicate a new chapter that's starting, a new beginning that's starting, and this particular new moon, with its squaring Uranus in your 1st house, could indicate that there are important, swift, unexpected changes to your property and living situation or decisions that you are making. Okay, so this could be to buy, to sell, to relocate, to maybe purchase an investment property, or look at an Airbnb. And so the square to Uranus indicates that you may be prompted to take action faster than what you expected. Or if, for example, you're getting a quote from someone, maybe what they're sharing with you is quite surprising to you, and I'm not saying that's good or bad. It could just be like whatever quote you receive, that's not what you were expecting. Okay, so some of you may find that you're having to relocate suddenly or unexpectedly. Now, this could even be temporary. It could be that someone is asking you to house sit for them, and it's like, can you do this tomorrow? or can you extend your house sit or your pet sit or what have you. So whatever is occurring around the time of the new moon, so 23rd of August, plus or minus even a week or so, I do believe that this is going to have some kind of flow-on effect into September. And I say that because in September, we're going to have another new moon in Virgo, but this time it'll be a solar eclipse. So we've actually got back-to-back double new moons in the sign of Virgo in your 4th house. So Gemini, I really do think that there is some kind of important decision that's being made about your property and living situation, and that it will entail an element of surprise or maybe something occurring at a faster pace than you anticipated. Okay, so let's have a look at family and home life. Now, your 3rd house is super activated, and the 3rd house rules over our siblings and our extended relatives. So what we've got here is Mercury in your 3rd house for the whole month, and then Venus will join Mercury in Leo at the end of the month. So Mercury retrograde in the 3rd house could indicate that you are maybe hashing things out with a sibling or an extended relative. Maybe you run into them unexpectedly. Maybe you are talking about long-standing issues that you've had with one another. And the good thing about Mercury retrogrades, especially when we've been experiencing conflict or discord with another person, is that it can allow us to see things from a different perspective, and it can afford us the opportunity to think outside the box and basically just draw a line in the sand and be able to advance our relationship further. Okay, so that energy is with you for the whole month. Now, the Mercury retrograde finishes on the 11th of August, but the pre-shadow period goes right up until Venus enters Leo, which is on the 25th or 26th, depending where you live in the world. So if I had to posit which dates would be auspicious for mending bridges with siblings or extended relatives, I would say between the 15th and the 18th of August, and then from about the 26th of August through till the end of the month. So still talking about family life here. On the 7th of August, Mars is going to enter the sign of Libra, which means it will transit your 5th house, and that will be until the 21st of September. So the 5th house rules over children, and wherever Mars goes, this is where we can experience challenges and conflicts, but this is also where we can be really motivated to take action and to set goals. So the 5th house rules over children. Mars in the 5th house can indicate disagreements with children acting up, maybe being rebellious, maybe raising their voice at you, or just being a bit aggressive. But with Mars trine Uranus, which is going to occur on the 9th of August, and Uranus is in your 1st house here, there is this ability to smooth things over. Mars in Libra will still be trining Pluto in Aquarius and Uranus in Gemini. So there is definitely scope for, diffusing the situation. Now, Mars going through the 5th house could also indicate for some of you that you are actively trying to conceive, to get pregnant, to start a family. Still talking about family life, on the 23rd of August, when we have the Sun entering Virgo, and also the new moon in Virgo as well on the same day, on the 23rd of August, this can be indicative of wanting to start a family or expand your family further. Obviously, I just mentioned that with the previous transit, but when we see 2 indicators for that, then there's even a higher chance of that occurring. For some of you, maybe you are finding out that your child is wanting to start a family. So maybe they're of an age where that is appropriate and you are preparing to become grandparents, or it's just like the idea or the concept of becoming a grandparent, and maybe there are certain considerations that you are having to make accordingly. Now, there could be some unexpected news from a family member that catches you off guard. And I say that because of the new moon in Virgo in your 4th house, squaring Uranus in Gemini in your 1st house. Because Uranus is in your 1st house, it could be that you are the one that shares family with your news, and they're all like, we weren't expecting this, or we find this really surprising. Whether that's for good or for bad, it doesn't matter. It's a general reading, so just take it as it resonates. Okay, some of you may be experiencing a surprise visit from a family member, so maybe they're telling you that they are going to be in the neighborhood or in the area and they're wanting to visit. Or there could be something that arises which leads you to plan a trip to visit family or to get in touch with a family member that you otherwise would not contact. So when we look at love and relationships, again, I want to reflect on Mars transiting your 5th house. So Mars will be in Libra in your 5th house from the 7th of August until the 21st of September. The 5th house relates to love and romance, dating, as well as our sex life. And Mars here transiting the 5th house can indicate that maybe there are more opportunities to date, to have fun, to be romantic. This can certainly reintroduce the spark and the passion into your love life. Maybe, this is spurring things on in your sex life. You're feeling like things are improving there. Now, it does need to be said, though, that Mars will oppose Saturn and Neptune, okay? And that is occurring around the 9th and the 10th of August. So Saturn and Neptune are in your 11th house, opposing Mars in Libra in your 5th house. So this can see there being questions raised about your relationship, whether that is casual or maybe you've been dating for a while. It's just like, are we on the same page? What does the future look like? Are we really doing this? What's the next step in our dynamic? And these oppositions are occurring at 1 degree. And 1 degree is the Aries degree. So that's Aries energy. Again, we're doubling down on that. So if there were to be, tensions running high in your relationship or with the person that you are dating, then I would expect them to be around the 9th or the 10th of August. But having said that, Mars is also going to trine Uranus in Gemini. So I get this feeling that important decisions are going to be made around mid-month if, you're already dating someone, and there may be this like back and forth about what decisions you're going to make and to try to get on the same page. But it does look like conflict resolution is an available option to you. All right. So lastly, Gemini, I just wanted to touch on the fact that Neptune and Saturn are both in Aries in your 11th house. So this can indicate that there are important foundations that you are wanting to lay, and there could be a new project that you are taking on that could actually take you years to complete, or certainly many months. And I know I spoke about this already with respect to your financial situation, but the 11th house is really about your long-term goals and dreams for the future. And these are like realistic goals, things that you can actually plan for. So if there's some kind of important step that you want to take personally or professionally, or as it relates to an important goal or objective, to me, it looks like August is a month where you are teasing that out and looking at curating some kind of plan. But with Mercury retrograde here, I do encourage you to be adaptable and also a couple of other things to mention are that we've got Saturn in Aries in your 11th house, sextiling Uranus in Gemini in your first house on the 12th of August. And this happens very rarely. So the last time this occurred was 1996 and 1997. The time before that was 1979 and 1980. And we won't see this again until, well, we'll see it next year, but 2038 and 2039. So this can indicate that you are having ingenious ideas about what you want to do professionally speaking, or perhaps this is about invention, innovation, something to do with tech or AI or something to do with science. So I think that there will be a lot of ideas bouncing around in your mind, and I would say do the research, write them down, extrapolate, tease them out, see where they can lead, because we're certainly having some astrological aspects that are very uncommon occurring this month. And the other one would be right at the end of the month, where we've got Uranus in Gemini in your first house, sextiling Neptune in Aries. So again, we're activating that first house and that 11th house for you. So it appears that you are going to be having many ideas that you are wanting to explore, but that will actually take you maybe even months or years to really see them through to completion. And I think it's possible to ground these into reality and actually lay these foundations between now and sort of the next few months, and then pick things back up from February next year. So Gemini, that's all I have for you for your August horoscope. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more content on this channel, do hit the subscribe button. And of course, you can follow me on Instagram and Facebook as well if you're wanting more astrological updates throughout the weeks in between me posting on YouTube. Enjoy a month ahead and see you next time.